Corvallis Housing First is an organization dedicated to providing housing and services to people experiencing homelessness in our community.
I would describe the mission of Corvallis Housing First. It is a permanent supportive housing program, but that begins a long time before we get people into housing. We need to meet people, build trust, build rapport, find out what has kept people from being housed, try to overcome those. If we can provide that housing, great. If not, we're gonna do everything we can to find a housing option that works for people that they want.
Oftentimes, people living on the street in our community, in any community, are seen as sort of others in society. And so it's really hard for people to overcome sort of that psychological barrier of being homeless. What we do is try to reach out to people to remind them that they are indeed human beings that deserve a safe place to be like any of us.
There are a number of issues that people facing homelessness, that they face. We see some of the external ones, the mental health, substance use disorder, even health conditions, but those are not the most significant one. The one that is probably the most common factor is trauma.
We provide housing to help people get stable, to help them find some peace in their life after experiencing trauma, the trauma of being on the street. We provide a way for them to access resources through our case management services, through connections with the community. If we can get people into housing, it makes all the other services so much easier to provide because we know where that person is. Usually they have access to a phone. We might even have a staff person on site that can locate that person to make a connection if they have a doctor's appointment, if they need to follow up on paperwork or something of that nature. It just makes providing all those other services that much easier when people are in housing. The other thing is that after a certain amount of time, most people just become more calm. And so when people get into housing, it can be transformative in of itself, of just having somebody giving them a stable place to be, a safe place to be every day.
We serve folks with significant and debilitating health concerns, serious mental health issues, substance use disorders, criminal backgrounds, and more, and sometimes all of the above. However, the most important work that we do is to get to know each person by name. We let them know that we see them and that they're not forgotten out there. We listen and we treat each person with dignity and compassion.
Homelessness doesn't just affect people in Corvallis. It doesn't just affect people in Oregon. Homelessness is something that happens all over the country. There's evidence-based, there's approaches that other communities have taken to solving this problem, which is possible. It is possible to solve homelessness that we can benefit from and implement in our own community. And Corvallis Housing First is really dedicated to making sure that we are following those best practices. We were one of the first Housing First organizations in the Mid-Willamette Valley area to really implement the ideas of Housing First, which really focus on getting people in housing first, not having requirements of sobriety or adhering to treatment plans. It's really about getting people into housing as quickly as we can and then working with them on the goals that they want for themselves. We do not work in a silo. We have to work with our partners in the community to provide services to the folks that we're working with because the needs that they have are so diverse and wide-reaching. Without our partners such as Unity Shelter, the Benton County Health Department, the City of Corvallis, the Daytime Drop-In Center, Community Outreach, all the other partners that we work with in the Community Samaritan Health Services, we couldn't serve the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis and to help them improve their lives. I've seen incredible resilience, people that have been able to overcome so many challenges in their life. The people that we work with are wonderful in so many ways, and I wish I could take a little chunk of that and share that with everyone that I know because it's really a privilege to have the job that I have.
Well, I mean, the work is very meaningful. Even on the tough days, the work is super meaningful, and it gives me a lot of joy personally. But It's also meeting a very basic human need: food, housing, clothing, that kind of thing. It just feels good to be involved in that. We shouldn't see people struggling and just walk on by.
Providing housing, I can't think of a more wonderful activity to be involved in every day than being able to give people keys to their home.